Hello, welcome to my WWDC24 Swift Student Challenge submission, PowerGrid. PowerGrid is an educational simulation game that puts you in charge of managing a city's electric grid. This game is built exclusively in the Swift programming language with the SwiftUI and Swift Charts frameworks. In this game, you have your power plants and your customers. Different power plants have their own characteristics and they have different advantages and disadvantages. For example, you have your natural gas power plant that produce large amounts of energy. However, they are reliant on expensive natural gas fuel and they also require frequent maintenance. Meanwhile, your solar panels are cheaper. They require less frequent maintenance, however they produce power depending on the sunlight level, and the sunlight level can be erratic throughout the day. Then you also have your different customers with different levels of demand. For example, you have your residential customers that have small demand but they pay very low, while you have your commercial customers with a higher demand and they pay relatively more. In PowerGrid, you can view the demand forecast of all your customers here. This allows you to plan your power plant production accordingly. To view the demand forecast of an individual customer, simply tap on the customer. As you can see here, it looks like our demand is about to rise and one of our natural gas power plants needs to be maintained. So let's turn this off and turn on a different one. Let's also buy more fuel for good measure. Now let's run the grid for the next 2 hours. Perfect, it works as intended. You can also view the sunlight forecast and wind forecast. This lets you find out when to use your renewable power plants such as the solar, hydroelectric, and wind turbine power plants. In this case, it's about to become nighttime, so we should probably turn off our solar power plant. The game also animates depending on the weather, such as in the case here where you can see it's heavily raining. You can also build more power plants and customers by tapping on an empty slot and choosing the desired power plant or customer. You can even add a battery storage to store excess wind and solar power production to use later, such as during the nighttime. It's your job as the electric grid manager to keep your power plant production in line with your customers' power demands while turning a profit. Your customers pay you based on how much of their demand is met. If you fail to meet your customers' demands, you lose a heart. Lose 5 hearts and it's game over.